In this video I'm going to show you how to download and install SQL Server. So let's start by going to the download page of eyeintheskyscreener.com. We'll go ahead and click this download now button under step number 2. It's going to prompt you to save SQLEXPR.exe. Click Save File. Choose a path to save that to and hit Save. And it's 54 megs in size, so it may take several minutes depending on your internet connection speed. And for the people who are using Windows XP, you'll want to make sure that you pull out Service Pack 3 before you install SQL Server, because there's a known compatibility issue between Windows XP Service Pack 3 and SQL Server. So you'd go into Add, Remove Programs, and be sure to check that box up above saying Show Windows Updates, and then you'd look for the item called Windows XP Service Pack 3 and right click and choose Uninstall that before you get started on this process. Otherwise the SQL Server setup won't complete and you won't be able to use the screener. So be sure to do that if you are using Windows XP with Service Pack 3. So I'm going to go ahead and run this SQLEXPR.exe, and it'll ask you if you want to run it, and you'll probably get 1 or 2 prompts from Windows depending on which version of Windows you're using. So just click Run and OK on those. I'm going to minimize the browser because we no longer need that. Alright, and then click the I accept button and hit Next. And there's a few settings that you need to change during the setup, so be sure that you make those changes or else the Eye in the Sky trade planning will not run properly. Because those are required. So we're going to go ahead and hit the next button on this screen, and it's just doing a configuration check now, and then hit next. And if you have a yellow exclamation point next to ASP.NET version registration required, don't worry about that because Eye in the Sky trade planning does not use that feature, so it's not a problem at all. You can just hit next, and it's going to go ahead and ask you for your name and your company, so you can change that if you'd like. And then hit Next. And on these 3 items that have a red X next to it, you want to change them to Will Be Installed on Local Hard Drive by clicking this down arrow and choosing that from the list. So be sure you change that on the screen and hit Next. Windows authentication mode is correct, so go ahead and hit Next. On this screen you need to make a change on this as well. You need to click the second box that says Add User to the SQL Server Administrator role. If you don't do that, the program won't work properly, so be sure to check that and then hit Next. You can leave these unchecked and then hit Next, and then hit Install. And that's going to copy several files to your computer. I'm going to pause this video until that's complete, and I'll resume it once it's finished. Alright, the setup is completed, and when it's finished you should see all green check marks next to all of these items. If you don't, you can go ahead and email support@eyeintheskyscreener.com and we can assist you through getting SQL Server up and running, but you shouldn't have a problem with that. You can go ahead and hit Next and then hit Finish.